Have you got any manly smells? That might sound like a strange question, but if you are used to selling at events, you probably know exactly where I am coming from. It is not uncommon when selling at events to have people come up to our stand and say, have you got any manly smelling soaps? Sounds like a strange question, and to me it is, because every man is different. Wow, surprise fact there, every man is different. And men do like different scents. Some men do like the floral scents, and some men do prefer the more woodsy or spicy smells. But when it comes to selling soap, if the man himself is not purchasing soap and it is a wife or a daughter or a mother or a friend buying for him, they will often ask for manly soaps, and by that they generally mean they want woodsy scents, they want smoky scents, they want kind of like the firs and the cedar, something that evokes the stereotypical man scent. Welcome to our video. I am Anne, and along with my good friend Wayne, we run the Sussex Handmade Soap Company, and we also run this YouTube channel. So when it comes to creating our manly soap, there is one company out there who has done a brilliant marketing job of creating their man soap, and you may well know the one that I'm thinking of. They are based in the US, but they are now selling into the UK, and they have really cornered the market on selling manly soaps with the whole kind of stereotypical images of woods and forests and strong, spicy, smoky smells. And today we are going to create our own manly soap based on those same kind of values. So today our manly soap is going to be a salt soap. Why is it going to be a salt soap, I hear you ask? Well, because when the men are outside doing their busy manly things like shifting boulders and fixing cars, their hands are going to get dirty, and salt is great for exfoliation, so we will be making a salt soap to help exfoliate all that manly mud away. So when it comes to scenting our manly soap, we are going to use essential oils, and there are various different essential oils that you can use. But stereotypically, people seem to believe that women will flock towards the florals and the citrus and the nice light scents like that, whereas people tend to believe that men will flock the other way and go for something that does smell a little bit spicier, a little bit more woodsy, a little bit more like the ocean. So I have created our blend today, which is 13 grams each of cedarwood, fir needle and bergamot, and they should work nicely together to give us a nice woodsy scent with a hint of spice that is hopefully going to appeal to the man market. And when it comes to colouring our soap, again, we have found that when selling our soap bars, if the soaps have got a purple tint, a pink tint, and to a degree even yellow kind of colours, they are deemed more feminine, and the people purchasing for men will veer towards anything that, again, evokes feelings of being outside. They like the greens, the browns, the greys, or the uncoloured, natural kind of cream-coloured soap. So today we are colouring our soap naturally with clay, and the choice was French green clay or glacial marine clay. Now, obviously, I went for the glacial marine clay because thinking of the whole soap as a package, being able to sell it as a glacial marine clay soap, what could sound more manly than imagining being outside, exploring, you're down by the glaciers, you've got your brilliant, beautiful glacial marine clay. That, to me, evokes manliness. And I have to say, this is all done a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I don't actually hold these values that men have to be outdoors and woodsy and whatnot and women have to be inside in the house. Of course I don't believe that. We are going with a stereotypical vibe today because we want to market it to the masses, and for some reason people purchasing for men do still subscribe to that theory. So a nice green soap scented in woodsy, outdoorsy smells, with salt in it for exfoliation, and we will be using, for the base of our salt soap today, 810 grams of coconut oil. If you are making a salt soap, the coconut oil is non-negotiable because other oils will not lather in the with a high amount of salt. This here is our salt. It is fine sea salt without an anti-caking ingredient. You don't want anti-caking ingredients when you are making salt soaps, so look for a pure salt with nothing else added in. We have also got 90 grams of castor oil here, And you could use an alternate oil. If you don't want to use castor oil, you can use your favourite soap making oil, but do just make sure that you run your recipe through a lye calculator if you are swapping out the castor oil for something else, as the required lye amount may change. Realistically, we're working with a high super fat and this is only a small amount of additional oil, so it probably won't change too much, but do check just to be on the safe side. The last things we have got today are our lye. Sodium hydroxide, 128 grams there. And we have got water, 256 grams of water. So now I have run through our ingredients and my thinking behind our man soap. Let's get started and make it. So first things first, if you are new to soap making and you are not entirely sure how to do it, please do check out our beginners playlist. It is really useful and it'll give you lots of hints and tips, especially cautionary statements when working with the lye and things to be careful of. Now that we have said that, we are working with lye, so we must put on our goggles, long sleeve top, closed toe shoes, and our little latex gloves. I have also tied back my hair and we are now good to go. I'm going to start by tipping the lye into the water, always lye into water, never water into lye. I'm then going to stir it and I'm going to quite quickly take it over to my sink where I'm going to let it cool down. I've got much better ventilation over by my sink, and also if it spills in the sink, it's not going to be half as much of an issue as if it spills over my table. So carefully pouring the lye into the water. It is going to release fumes, so I'm standing back, and you want to stir until the lye is fully dissolved. So I'm now going to move our lye over to our sink and allow it to cool down. So now our lye is cooling, we need to turn our attention to our coconut oil. I'm going to take it over to the hob and we are going to gently melt it until it has completely dissolved and is liquid. We are looking for temperatures today of around about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It has to be 90 or below because coconut oil is prone to overheating and we don't want our soaps to bubble up or volcano, so we are looking for low temperatures today. So this will be melted and the lye will be cooled. So our coconut oil is now melted, as you can see in here, nice and melty. And what we want to do now is add in our castor oil, which I've got just here. And we're just going to pour that down into the coconut oil. Making sure we are scraping down the sides to get all of that castor oil out and into the pan. And now I want to take the temperature and check what it is at. We are looking for 90 or below. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit high. Yeah, it is at 105 Fahrenheit. So I'm just going to quickly place it into a bowl of water just to help the temperature come down. And then when it's 90, we'll add in our clay and our essential oils. So we are down at 89 degrees Fahrenheit now, and we are going to add in our glacial marine clay. Just tipping that into the bowl now. And then I'm going to stir it round until it is nicely incorporated. And I do like watching the clays dissolving, or rather mixing into the oil, watching the colour of the oil change. You can see it's going a nice deep green colour. In the finished soap, it may not be as vibrant as it looks right now, but it will still have a pretty green tint to it. Once the clays are incorporated, I'm going to add in our essential oils and mix them in nicely as well. Stir them around until they are nicely incorporated. So going in with the essential oils now. Mixing them in to combine. And I'm now going to bring back in our lye, which will hopefully be at around about 90 Fahrenheit as well. And then we're going to get to blending them together. So we've got our lye now, which is measuring at exactly 90 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to slowly pour it over the spatula into the pan. Just very gently lye water into the oils. And then we're going to use our stick blender to bring it to a light trace with a combination of sort of stirring and pulsing. And we want quite a nice light trace today. So now we are at a very light trace. We are going to add in our sea salt into our pan, and it will be a little bit clumpy. You'll probably see some bubbles coming up as we stir it in. Make sure the sea salt is stirred in really nicely. It takes a lot more stirring than you might imagine. There has been times when I've done salt bars, I thought I'd stirred them perfectly well, and then you find big old clumps of salt at the bottom of the pan, which is not what you want. After I've stirred this in, I'm going to transfer it into a jug because that just gives an extra level of being able to check that you haven't got any clumps of salt, and it also makes it a heck of a lot easier when we are pouring into the moulds. And at this point, you can give it a final little blast with the stick blender just to make it a little bit thicker, and again it will help incorporate that salt. And decanting into our jug. I say it just gives that final level of being able to check that there are no big lumps of salt at the base of the pan, and it does make it so much easier for pouring into the moulds. Looks like I've done a decent job of mixing today because there is no clumpy, lumpy bits of salt. And now we can bring in the mould. Get rid of these bits. So we've got our salt bar mould here now. This was from Brambleberry and it has got 12 cavities, and we are just going to pour into each one, filling them up almost all the way to the top. I'm trying to do this in a clean fashion, but I'm sure something will drip at some point. There we go. And after we have filled up all of our salt bar cavities, we are going to pop the salt bars to one side, and salt bars are very quick to firm up due to the amount of coconut oil and salt in them. So after a couple of hours they are going to be ready to pop out. If you are making salt bars in a loaf mould and you want to cut them, make sure you cut them quickly, as in give it a couple of hours and then unmould and cut. Otherwise, if you leave it the usual kind of 24 hours, you're probably going to find that at the end of it, you can't actually cut your salt bars because they have got too firm. Oh, last one now. Scraping down the jug because the last one is always a little bit underfilled because I have a habit of overfilling my moulds. So I can see a couple that look like I slightly overfilled them. Going to spoon out a little bit from these two, and I think this one could do with a bit more too. That looks all right, I think. Let's give it a shake and a tap down. Just going to use the spatula just to level those two that I took the spoonfuls out of, and level that one a bit just to make them look nice. There we go. That is our Glacial marine clay salt bars with cedar, fir and bergamot essential oils. We're going to leave them for a couple of hours and we will come back and turn them out and show you what they are looking like. Yay! So a couple of hours later and we are back with our man soaps. They have firmed up really nicely. They are nice and firm. I can still just about press my finger into them, but they are definitely firm enough for unmoulding. I've popped my gloves back on because it has only been 2 hours. The soap could still be caustic. Well, it will still be caustic and it could still burn me if I touch it with my bare hands. We are going to carefully now pop out each of the soaps. So up it comes. There is the first one. I think that is a very nice shade of green. It comes out darker than French green clay, I think. Of course, it may fade a little, but clays don't really tend to fade too much, so that is probably fairly true to what the final colour will be. I can smell the cedarwood, fir and bergamot in there as well. I'm going to give it a little whiff, not too close to my nose, don't want to burn my nose off. Yeah, that is a really nice smell. You can definitely pick up the cedarwood and the fir in there, and the bergamot as well. But it is a very woodsy scent. Let's unmould the rest of them now. So if you would like to get your hands on one of these salt soaps, then by all means head over to our website www.sussexsoap.co.uk. It is a new scent of salt soap that we are going to introduce because it does smell really nice, and I really do think it is going to appeal to the male members of our soap fan base, if you like. But initially it will just be these 12 that we are offering up. I will pop them on a pre-order so that you can get one if you wish to. They will be dispatched in mid-April once they are cured. So if you like what you see and you like the sound of the scent and the sound of the glacial marine clay, and hey, perhaps you've got a man you need to buy something for, then please do head across and grab one of them, because hopefully you'll like it and we would definitely appreciate it. 2 left, the middle 2, always the most difficult ones to get out of the mould. Come on. Oh. 1. And the final soap. 2. There we go, 12 glacial marine clay salt bars scented with cedarwood, fir and bergamot. I'm very happy with how they've turned out. I really like the colour, I really like the scent, and I think we've kind of checked that box of creating a manly man soap, if there even is such a thing. If you're a man and you like rose soap, go with rose. There's nothing wrong with being a man and liking rose or lavender or whatever you want to like. If you like our videos, speaking of liking things, then please do hit subscribe if you want to see more of them. Check the notification bell so you can find out when our next video is uploaded. Click the like button and leave us a comment. Let us know what is your favourite manly smell. If you're a man. If you're a woman, let us know what you would buy for a man in your life. Would you stick to something traditional like this, or would you go for a more floral scent? Let us know and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching today. Bye!